Alright dudes, back again in the shop today. What we're going to do is talk about the new truck. Oh my god, got it in October, and I went easy on it for a little while, but I've started not going so easy on it, so probably better talk about it before it gets ugly. And it's actually one of the first points on my list, is that it doesn't look ugly. I really kind of like the look of it. So the body's real nice. Yeah, we'll come to some of the reasons why I chose it particularly for FPV, but you know, let's generally talk about it as a car first. So the body looks real nice, and it's actually like quite high quality. The Lexan's real thick all around, and you know, I've had a chance now, you know, or it's happened now that I've just kind of rolled it and crashed into a bunch of stuff, and you know, it kind of sucks. Like FPV, I gotta cut the windows out. There's no real way around it, and what always tends to happen is you roll and it hits the roof, and then you get a split along one of these cuts. So I did my best to like put as much curve on the corners as possible, right? To sort of make sure it doesn't split there, but yeah, and I do have a roll bar inside here giving the body support. So, but yeah, I've rolled it a bunch of times now, and haven't split anything. I haven't like come down square on the roof yet. That's like the worst kind of crash I find, but that hasn't happened yet. But yeah, and generally the crashes are just like, I haven't traction rolled it yet. This thing's crazy. It just won't, I don't know, it just doesn't traction roll, it seems. But you know, if you catch the back end landing on a jump or whatever and get into a bit of cartwheeling, that's the sort of crashes I've had. And the other nice thing, so I've got the roll bar under here. I've also got these inner fenders. Let's see. Yeah, there they go. These inner fenders, right? And between the two of those things, this body is just like really together with the chassis, right? Like it's working together super well. So yeah, I really like it, and you know, you gotta like the way your car looks, right? So yeah, and running just like a stock body is good for a lot of reasons. Like your inner fender kit will fit. Things are made for the stock body, it seems. And that was kind of one of my goals for this whole car, is just to start again and see what was sort of the least I could get away with, right? So, you know, let's just buy kind of run-of-the-mill car and mod it as little as possible and get a killer FPV setup on it. And I think I've achieved that. So that was sort of the build philosophy. Keep it stock, don't do anything special, and make it, you know, what's the least it takes to make this thing awesome. So yeah, body, fenders, all working together well. I've got a list here, hopefully I won't ramble too much. Look at that, fits right on. Okay, set that aside. And yeah, we've got my whole gimbal-y setup here. I've gone over that a bunch of times. I could talk about it again, but I'll save it for another part. Yeah, so the inner fenders here, what I did, I've added some bits of tape, just like Gorilla tape, to fill in the gaps between the fenders and the body posts, and that's made a huge difference. See right there? Little bits of foam just to fill gaps between the fender and the chassis. And yeah, this thing's clean when it comes back, you know. Got a washout in here, right? Wash this stuff off, but inside the chassis it's clean. And even some tape just above where the steering servo is in here. I know it's dark. Some tape just above where the steering servo is, because rocks, what happens, rocks can jam up the steering on this model, right? So they come in, boop, 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 and just drop down there and then wedge themselves in. So if you just keep them out of this area, you won't have that problem. So there you go. Yeah, so when I'm setting up to buy like a new model, I usually look at like the whole family of cars, right? So for the Senton, right, like look at the Arma 3S, 4S line. Look at all those cars, and then I pull up all the exploded views for all those cars, and I see what's in common, right? So this started out as the brushed version, the Senton Mega 4x4, right? What that comes with is the ESC and receiver are separate units, so that's good because I wanted to replace the ESC, right? So, and the drivetrain, axles, center axle, diffs, all that stuff was exactly the same as you know, the 3S Senton BLX, right? And then beyond that, even, you know, I think the center drive shaft is the same as even the 4S line of cars, right? And yeah, so this thing arrived, you know, brushless ready, and it really was. It's 3S ready, right? I put 3S power in this thing almost immediately, even on like a 48 pitch spur. I put a small brushless system in there, and now I've got 120 amp ESC and a 3670 2650 kV motor in there. And to prep it for that, all I did was the motor plate, 32 pitch spur, and I put on the metal hexes as well. So like pretty minimal. So drivetrain is a big check, really good. And then one little thing I didn't like, so there's like 0 suspension tuning options, right? There's 0 alternate mounting points for camber links and all that. The camber links even on this model aren't adjustable at all. So it's kind of, you know, probably mostly a bad thing, but the good thing is that the car drives really well, so don't really need to tune it. And to be honest, I don't really want to, you know, it's nice to not even have to think about it, to be honest. The car's the way it is, just go drive it, and it's you know, it's something that doesn't need to be fixed. It ain't broke, don't fix it. And the car drives really well as it is. Now the shocks are missing a bit of oil in them, so that's one thing I'm gonna have to address, is just topping those up. But yeah, and the tires are great, just the right amount of grip, and the tires are vented, the rims have no vents, which is perfect. That's what I was doing to all my tires already anyways, so thank you Arma for just doing that for me. Yeah, so I chose the Mega 4x4. The Boost cars come with a 2-in-1 ESC receiver, right? So that's not that great. But the Mega 4x4 comes with the receiver ESC separately. So it comes with the SLT3, and it's a 3-channel radio, which is perfect because I need an extra button to reset this guy after I wipe out. So it's got just enough channels to do that for me. So that was good. Another thing I can keep stock on this vehicle. Right, no need for an upgrade there. The range is good. The range is definitely good. I've got 600 milliwatt FPV system, and they work well together, no problem. Oh yeah, so like for FPV, right, for this sort of building style that I've been on now, it's just I add a couple ABS vertical plates, right, and then build in aluminum off of those. And this chassis has nice square sides. You can build straight up off of it really easily. And then yeah, so on the budget theme, I just ran analog equipment, and I think I spent less than, it was like a $40 camera and probably $15 VTX. That's all Canadian prices. And then the on-screen display, because it's analog, you can do fun things like the on-screen display is pretty easy. And I found one that was a standalone for like, I think it was about $50. And it's not perfect, but it's pretty cool, and it does, does good enough. So that was a fun little add-on. I found it really helpful just having the GPS speed and battery voltage in the screen all the time. And then there's other fun things to have, like the false horizon and whatever. So yeah, altogether, like minimal mods to get the car this way, and it's a really fun FPV build. And yeah, we'll see you on the next one. Ciao.